Welcome to Fast Keto. I'm your host, Ketogenic Girl. Did you know that you actually have the option to either be a sugar burner or a fat burner? It's called having a metabolic advantage, as Dr. Ben Beekman would put it. You can actually burn your own stored body fat for fuel. On this show, we talk about ketogenesis, fasting, biohacking, all with the goal of optimal body composition for longevity and having the highest possible quality of life. I hope you enjoy these interviews and solo casts that I present to you, all with this goal in mind. Now, with that goal of having optimal quality of life in mind, and I define quality of life by the absolute amount of joy that you feel experiencing life, I created something called the 20-Day Ketogenic Girl Challenge. It's the best product that I could possibly create in order to help as many people as possible try keto out for themselves, get into nutritional ketosis or ketogenesis, and become fat-fueled. When you become fat-fueled, you transition out of that mode of being a sugar burner to being a fat burner, and all these incredible things happen. The first one is you start to burn your own stored body fat for fuel. Now, that's great because a lot of us want to have optimal body composition, less body fat, more muscle, stronger muscle and bone mass. But even if you're not looking to lose fat on your body, even if you're looking just to gain muscle or be strong as you continue to go through life, building muscle and strong bones, keto also helps with that. It's muscle sparing. So whether you're in it for weight loss, fat loss, optimizing your body composition, or just improving your overall energy, your mood, your health, I know I personally have never been happier in my entire life or feeling better in my body. And so much of that comes from being at my optimal goal. I have the highest quality of life for myself that I could have ever imagined because I'm at my ideal body composition. I am living my best life in this body and I'm making the most of being in this body. So that's why I created the 20-Day Challenge, and it's a program that comes with my meal plans, which are 4 weeks, about 28 days of meal plans. And in there you have shopping lists, full guide to getting into ketosis, testing for ketosis, which is optional if you want to do that. But the coolest thing about it is it also comes with my unlimited support and coaching. So I added this in after I had first created the program because I realized that so many of us have questions when we're starting out a brand new way of life, a new lifestyle. Not only do we have lots of questions, but we also need to have a lot of support. And so I created the 20-Day Challenge because we have a community in there of others who've done the program already, who've gone through it and love being there, love helping out and supporting other people who are joining. And then I'm also there answering your common questions, answering anything that comes to mind while you're trying this out. Do you want to substitute something in the meal plan for something else? Do you want to find a recipe for a certain specific event? Do you want to find what my recommendations would be for ordering off a menu at a certain restaurant? I'm there to help guide you. I know some of these are different kinds of requests, but I'm there to support you in any kind of question that you have doing keto. I love to provide explanations of how different processes work in the body, why ketogenesis works. I love to share any kind of insight and information that I can. And I'm there to be your guide, to be your support. Studies have shown that we get to our goals so much more easily and faster when we have a guide, when we have a friend, a coach, a support person keeping us accountable, keeping us motivated, excited, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm excited to help you get to your goals, get to your best health, because I have never been happier living and enjoying my life and being in my body. I've never had so much body confidence, so much strength, so much zest and excitement for life, and I love helping people experience that for themselves too. You can see dozens and dozens of success stories posted on my different feeds on Instagram, on Ketogenic Girl. There's a section called Success Stories and Testimonials, and you can read through so many different successes that people have had doing the challenge. So I would love to have you join the challenge. Give it a try. There are other options too that can be added on and layered on During the program, I have my phase 2 higher protein cleanse. If you're looking to build more muscle after you've started keto with the 28-day ones, I have build your day ones, no cook plans. I have vegetarian ones. I have all kinds of different versions and add-ons for later on if you decide that you are continuing at this. But what have you got to lose other than stored body fat? Use it for fuel, optimize your health and your body composition today, and go check out the 28-day Ketogenic Girl Challenge at ketogenicgirl.com. Now, onto our show. All right, guys, welcome to this solocast episode of Fast Keto. Today, we're talking all about being fat-fueled and what does it mean to burn fat for fuel in ketogenesis. And what is the whole point of doing this keto thing to begin with? What is keto? I want to dive and dig into that today. We're going to do it on this special episode, which is for keto beginners or for anyone who's been doing keto for a while but wants to understand some of the processes and physiological mechanisms behind ketogenesis and why it is so super awesome. All right, guys, so I love doing episodes like this where I just get to totally geek out with you about what keto is and what ketogenesis is. I love being fat fueled. I love being a fat burner. I wrote about this in my cookbook, Keto Essentials. I had no idea that we actually could be sugar burners or fat burners. I started out the book like this. Did you know that you could actually be either a sugar burner or a fat burner? Let me tell you, the day that I found out, I was like, hallelujah. I did not know that that was possible. And as soon as I knew that that was a reality, a physical reality, all I wanted to know is every single thing about keto from that point on. I wanted to understand it, explore it. I had never understood at that point before that there were these two modalities, that our metabolism is actually able to either burn sugar or burn fat. I always thought it was just burning sugar, burning calories, and that basically that sugar and calories were kind of the same thing. Yeah, you wouldn't know that I studied nutrition as my electives in university and that I geek out in my free time all these years just getting into nutrition and studying nutrition. I obviously still had so much to learn. And that's what I started doing about 5 years ago when I first got into keto and started doing it for myself. All I wanted to do was learn every single thing about it. And as soon as that key concept came across to me, you can either be a sugar burner or you can be a fat burner. And we can transition in and out of both modes, but one is always dominant, one is always primary, and one is secondary. That shifted everything for me. From that day on, I wanted to know every single thing about how I could become a fat burner, how this worked, and how I could do this and sustain it for myself and make it a lifestyle, because there's something that I struggled with the most. Of all the different things that I was going through in my life, I had a lot of chronic pain from autoimmune reactions. I had a lot of just pain in general from being in my body, a lot of fatigue, low energy. There's so many things I could tell you about, from headaches to just feeling like every single day I woke up and I was like, what is going to hurt today? What is not going to be fun to be experiencing my body? And because of that day, I just knew that there was going to be something. And I kind of got used to that as being just part of life, part of living. But I never gave up hope that there could be this possibility for me where I didn't wake up feeling that day every day. I woke up full of energy, feeling fantastic in my skin, in my body, feeling excited about doing activities and things with my body. I started to want to really maximize this whole experience of being in a body like this and what it means. And there's so many incredible things you can do with your body, and so many of them that I still wanted to experience. And I knew that I was holding myself back because I was really focused, most of all these different things that I was unhappy about was really my body weight. And I didn't feel body confident. I felt fine and overall like participated in my life, but there was so much that I was holding back from personally because I didn't feel body confident. I didn't feel comfortable in my skin. I didn't feel good in a pair of jeans, which I felt like I just wanted these simple things like pulling on a pair of jeans and feeling body confident enough to go out and enjoy myself and be with the people around you. And for some reason, I just didn't feel like I could do that. I didn't feel comfortable being overweight in my body. And I struggle a lot with like posting before and after photos and things because I know that I was never obese on a level. I had some obesity when you're talking about just body fat percentage versus, our basic composition. We can get into that and how we can measure obesity based on body fat percentage. And I found out more and more about that in my actual metabolic health. But a lot of people might look at my personal journey and say, well, you only had 40 pounds to lose. It's really not that major. And I understand that. I was really, wanting to optimize my health for a lot of different reasons. But I'm going to say that vanity was a part of it, wanting to feel body confident, wanting to feel like I didn't have this extra 40 pounds of body fat on me that I was carrying around, this surplus energy. I just didn't want to have it. And anyone who, is say 100 pounds or 200 pounds overweight, everyone can relate to why they might not want that. But sometimes when you're even when you're just trying to lose 20, 30 pounds, it can be really, really frustrating because, sometimes just losing that small amount can be more challenging. And anyone knows that, yes, when you have a lot of weight to lose, that's a massive undertaking. But you'll notice as you lose fat and you burn fat that the more you get to your goal, sometimes it's harder to lose just that last 10 pounds or that last 20 pounds. Anyway, that's beside the point. We all have different goals. We all have different motivations. I'm sharing something that some people might think of as really vain. And, it's just that I wanted to optimize my body composition just so that I could optimize my experience of living life. And I was tired of living all these years feeling like I was carrying around all this extra energy that I didn't need to on my body. It made things more difficult than they needed to be. It made going for a hike with friends something that was not enjoyable for me because I had an extra 40 pounds that I was carrying that made the hike harder for me. It made me get out of breath really rapidly. When I was in high school, my PE coach used to point at me and point me out and say, you look at how red Vanessa's face is getting from running, and looking back at it now, I'm like, wow, that was kind of mean of him to do. But he wanted to show, because I was a chubby one in class, that, if you have extra weight on your body, that it's going to be so much harder to do simple things. And, I wanted to be able to work out and run and exercise and not get really red and sweaty. And I wanted to be able to go on a hike with friends and be at that same fitness level as them. A lot of my friends are really fit. I wanted to be able to go and do those things and not be out of breath. And not just that, but like enjoy it also. Hiking can actually be fun when you're not carrying around all this surplus energy. So these are some of the things that are some of my whys that I like to focus on. And it's so important to know your whys because your whys will really help you get to your goals. When you focus on why you want to make specific changes, why it's so important to you. I wanted to feel good in my body, have tons of energy, be able to do all the activities that I want to do. I want to be able to have a family, run after our kids and have the energy to be with them and not have pain in my body. There's so many things that I want to do in my body that for me make having optimal body composition important. All right, guys, I know that you care just as much as I do about feeding your families the most nutrient-dense, high-quality food and meats, and also being able to save money and be on a budget. That's why I love ButcherBox. It saves you time and it saves you money by not having to go to the store and shop. And you also get incredible deals. They have a brand new promotion that is running in March, and it is for anyone who signs up that is a fan of Fast Keto. You can go to butcherbox.com/fast Fast Keto. And if you sign up, you will get free ground beef for life, plus $20 off for signing up using my link. And that's butcherbox.com/fast keto. You get free ground beef for life. That's 2 pounds of free ground beef in every monthly ButcherBox order that you get for the life of your membership. Now, this is a great way to save money, save time, and be able to feed your family nutrient-dense food. So check out the link. I'll put it in the show notes as well. It's butcherbox.com/fast keto. When you talk about actual metabolic health, this is major as well for me. I have diabetes in my family, and it's something that I've been fearful of getting myself, and I wanted to make sure that I have optimal metabolic health so that I can live a long time. Again, a lot of it goes back to quality of life, the joy that you feel from your life and from being in your body. And for me, I had all these different reasons behind wanting to be fat-fueled. And when I found out that this was a possibility, that I didn't have to carry around this extra surplus stored energy with me for the rest of my life, because trust me, I had tried everything out there in order to lose this fat, and nothing worked. I was killing myself at the gym, doing cardio all the time, sometimes for an hour and a half a day, and not seeing any results. I was calorie counting, and I was vegetarian for 17 years. I think a lot of that was because of my love of animals, but a lot of it was because I thought that that was the healthiest diet and the best way to stay slim and be slim and preserve your youth and youthfulness and your energy as you grow in life. And I'm not sure why I believe that, and I'm not sure why I believe those things, but everything that I read when I was researching about how to burn fat and lose weight was all this move more, eat less paradigm. It was all about calories. And, calories are part of it. Definitely. There's an energy balance equation, but it's not all calories. And so much more of it that I've seen personal success with comes down to understanding the endocrine mechanisms behind why fat loss happens. And I just find this absolutely fascinating. Our bodies are absolutely fascinating. And the fact that we can go into this fat burning mode, this fat burning state, and activate this process of ketogenesis is so cool to me just to know about. And understanding it, especially in the last year, studying biochemistry and studying physiology and anatomy, I've learned so much more about what actually happens, what these processes actually are, how they happen. It's absolutely fascinating to me, and I just geek out on it so hard. I love understanding these processes. They're so logical. They're so fascinating. They're mind-blowing. The way that our bodies are designed and built and the way that we function in them, it's incredible. And I absolutely love biochemistry. It's been so much fun to be able to devote this time, as hard as studying can be, as isolating as it can be, and how much focus and energy it takes to study. When you love studying something, it gives you that ability to have the tenacity and grit to keep going and, studying day after day, hour after hour, because you get so much out of it. And being able to clarify your understanding of some of these mechanisms, to me, it excites me also because I know that I'm going to be able to better convey some of these concepts and better explain them. So that's why today I wanted this episode to be all about ketogenesis and being fat fueled. So one of the reasons keto is so awesome is you deplete your glycogen, which is really our main, most active, accessible energy storage that we have on the body. And glycogen, when you break it down, it's really glucose, and our body stores it in our liver and our muscles for quick access to energy. A lot of that is because our brain needs glucose to be fueled. And also, if we're in a situation where we need to escape a predator, we need to have that fast, quick energy. But it's a very inefficient fuel. What is efficient is our body fat, our stored fat, and that is stored in our adipocytes, our fat cells, which are adipose sites or fat cells. And that is where our body stores really dense, concentrated forms of energy that is much more dense than glucose. So, for example, glucose or single carb, 1 gram of carbohydrate equals 4 calories of energy, as you all probably know, and fat generates 6 calories of energy. So it's a much more dense form of energy, and it's much more efficient, and it enables our bodies to store lots of it. We actually have an unlimited capacity for how much we can store in our bodies, which is really cool if you are hibernating or you need to store energy for a long winter. I love that my body can store energy for me. I just don't need it to store as much as it was storing. And figuring out that I can get into this state, this, as Dr. Ben Beekman says, this metabolic advantage. We have this metabolic flexibility built in within us, but many of us really never go into that ability to be fueled from fat because of something that relates back to our absorptive and postabsorptive states. So one of the things I like to talk about is how we have insulin and glucagon in the body, and glucagon is a hormone that we don't talk about a whole lot. I love talking about it because it really is the hormone that is dominant when we are in a fat burning state. So right after we eat a meal, for about 4 hours after eating that meal, we are in the absorptive state, and that means that insulin is dominant during that time, and it is a growth hormone. It is all about storing, taking all that energy, using some of it for immediate needs, but also storing, building, growing stores of energy. After about 4 hours of the absorptive state, our bodies can go into something called the post-absorptive state. But if we are, say, eating a regular meal times and regular intervals throughout the day, it's more difficult for the body to go into that post-absorptive state. And it'll only do it really one time, and that's when we're sleeping, because it's the only time that the body really has no inputs of energy coming in. So if you think about it, start your day off at 7 a.m. because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We're told 7 a.m. you have a meal, you go into the absorptive state for about 4 hours. You're finally going into the post-absorptive state where your body's going to be mobilizing some of your stored energy, stored fat for energy. And what happens? Well, about that time is around lunchtime, and that's when we typically have lunch. So that, again, we eat a meal, and then we're breaking down all those nutrients, assimilating them. Insulin is dominant. We are storing fuel and keeping it for later. And right around that time, about 4 or 5 hours after a meal, we're about to go into that post-absorptive state and start burning fat for fuel. And what happens? We have dinner. So our body, again, goes into that absorptive state, and we take all that energy and we store it, and we store it for later. And insulin is dominant. And insulin is a hormone that is secreted by the beta cells of the pancreas. But glucagon is a hormone that is the antagonist to insulin. It's actually secreted by the alpha cells in our pancreas. So if we have dinner, we have that, again, same situation, barring no snacking or nothing after dinner, you would generally start to get into the post-absorptive state around midnight. After you go to sleep, throughout the night, your body will be doing kind of this steady state cardio while you sleep from about 11 or 12 until you wake up again, 7 a.m. So your body has about 5 or 6 hours that it can really be in that post-absorptive state, and your body needs to be fueled off of those energy stores while you're sleeping, because there's lots of processes and mechanisms going on even though your consciousness is at rest and you're sleeping. The body is doing a lot of repair. It's doing all kinds of different things. on a cellular level that we need energy for. It's also keeping you warm. There's so many things going on in that time. So you're still burning calories, even though you're sleeping, you're still needing calories for energy during that time. So this typical day that I laid out, in a way it's a standard day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I don't know about you, but before keto, I never really just had 3 meals. I definitely had some snack action happening, usually between breakfast and lunch, usually between lunch and dinner, and always typically after dinner while relaxing on the couch. I definitely had about 6 meals a day. Sometimes those snacks between meals were like a latte. Those are also meals, even if it's just a drink. We tend to think of our drinks as like non-meals, as somehow not containing any energy or calories. And I'm really talking about myself. I did that. Just because something has non-fat milk in it or sugar-free, this and that, it doesn't mean that it's not a meal. It doesn't mean that your body is not going into triggering these same mechanisms, especially being in that absorptive state. So it's really important to know and understand that there is something called the absorptive state. There's something called the postabsorptive state. That's why intermittent fasting is so helpful. I like to also think of it as intermittent eating. It's kind of a little bit more positive way of looking at it is intermittent eating. You're focusing more on the meals that you're having, and then you're having spaces between those meals. So that's why people talk so much about the benefits of having an eating window. Hey guys, so I want to tell you about a brand new company that I just found out about called eMeals. What they do is offer a service that makes it a little bit easier to follow any kind of lifestyle. They've been doing it with paleo for a while and with other kinds of diet and lifestyle, and they just launched a brand new one for keto. So what they do is they have a keto plan which includes dietitian-approved meals and targets the right macros for you. And the meals are easy to make and taste amazing. What happens is each week you get 7 dinners, 1 breakfast, 1 lunch, and 1 dessert. And that connects directly to a smart shopping list with online grocery pickup and delivery options. And that saves you time and money. So the meal plan directly connects to the shopping list, and you can go through this app that they have and pick out meals that you like, recipes you like, kind of customize and build your meal for the week. And it will take that, send it to your local grocery that does deliveries, and the groceries will show up at your door. And then you have the recipes in the app that you can make meals from during the week. So I think they offer a really great service. It really enables you to save time and money because of being directly connected to your local grocery store with this smart shopping list. It's a subscription-based app, and you also get access to other bonus collections of keto recipes from different keto authors and other influencers in the space that specialize in the keto space. 4-week keto is all you really need to maintain a ketogenic diet on their easy-to-use platform. So go to emeals.com/keto today, and you'll get a 14-day trial if you want to test them out. That's emeals.com/keto, and check them out. Let me know if you like the service, what you think of it. If it's something that you found helpful for you, I would love to know. So be sure to go check them out. I definitely recommend this as a fantastic app and service. When I created my 20-day Ketogenic Girl program, I created this eating window every day that it has in there about 8 hours and then 16 hours that are fasted. And that eating window is really important because you are cutting off those times outside of meals that you're snacking. And I also really emphasize the most important thing is just eating to fullness and satiety at your meals and then fasting between the meals. So I like to talk about, grazing and something I called nursing, which is what I used to do. I always had a drink in my hand, whether it was some kind of fizzy drink, soda drink, obviously diet drink with no calories in it. Still triggers the absorptive state. And, whether it was a sugar-free latte or London Fog or some kind of other concoction that I had that I thought was fine to drink because it was low in calories, I wasn't taking into consideration this endocrine part of the equation, which has to do with our hormones, has to do with these postabsorptive state. There we go. Nailed it. That is the state that we go into when glucagon is dominant, and glucagon is burning our stored energy for fuel. And so many cool things happen when we are utilizing our stored energy to burn it for fuel. We are fat fueled. We are fat adapted. It's called keto adapted, fat adapted. There's so many different names for it, but your body is utilizing the energy that you either consumed before and it's stored for you, or you had stored before that from other times that you ate beyond that day, certain days energy requirements. So even a lean person has about 40,000 calories worth of stored energy on the body. And if you have an extra 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 100 pounds, that's a lot of calories that are stored there for you to utilize because it's such an efficient form of fuel. So I love being fat fueled. There's so many benefits that come to it. But the main one in my mind is you have really healthy physiology because your blood is not going to be full of energy all the time. You're going to have much better sensitivity to some of these hormones. So that's improved insulin sensitivity. Your body's going to be more efficient and healthier because you're able to utilize the energy that comes in better. Your cells are very responsive to the food that you eat, to the energy that you eat, and you can layer on these other things like more and more nutrient dense food, higher quality food. There's so many different layers to a ketogenic lifestyle that come into it. When I started, I was really focused on making sure that I ate a lot of healthy fats so that I could build up all those bile salts that your body needs to make these bile salts in order to break down lipids, because they need they sort of act as detergents on the fats in order to break them down so you can digest them. And your body also needs to make fat burning enzymes, which are lipases. And if you're like me, you're barely eating any fat for the last 20 years, and I mean zero fat, everything, then you have to give your body some time to develop these lipases, to develop these enzymes, to be able to, generate a lot of these bile salts for you to break down the fat. And there's a little bit of catching up that needs to happen there. And I was really focused on eating healthy fats for my energy. I was focused on getting, somewhat of an adequate amount of protein, and really focused on making sure that my carbs didn't go over 20 grams per day, because that's where a lot of studies indicate that ketogenesis happens. That's where the body goes into this, metabolic state where you are burning fat primarily for fuel instead of sugar. And, the other thing that the eating window does is it also helps to deplete your glycogen so that you can get into that post-absorptive state more readily, more quickly, more efficiently, and all these things. And all these things sort of build on top of each other. They all build up in order to benefit us in a bigger picture, in a larger picture. So I absolutely love being fat fueled. I love eating delicious keto meals that are full of quality proteins, nutrient dense foods, really delicious, flavorful meals, because fat is so flavorful, and so are, really quality nutrient dense forms of protein. And carbohydrates can play such a great role in adding variety and flavor to our meals and our foods as well, to our basically to our lifestyle, adding so much color, variety, a lot of micronutrients too. But they also can enable us to access our metabolic flexibility, and we're able to do that by creating this eating window every day, by applying this model of intermittent eating within a designated eating window, making sure you eat nutrient-dense meals at your meal times, and then fasting between meals so that your body can more readily get into that post-absorptive state where you're able to burn body fat for fuel and be fat fueled. So these are some of the things I wanted to cover today, and I'm going to keep giving you these sort of little morsels of information here on how being fat fueled works, why it's so great, why some of the benefits occur, and why I personally love being fat fueled, and why I know so many other people have just really embraced this lifestyle, because being fat fueled is such an energy efficient way for the body to be. It is so cool that you get all these benefits. You get to burn off any excess body fat and therefore optimize your body composition for lower body fat, staying, out of those risk zones that, being in an obesogenic mode, or being, obese or morbidly obese, puts us at more of a risk for metabolic syndrome. We know, according to latest research, 88% of Americans are metabolically less than optimally healthy, that of only about 12% are really metabolically healthy. I mean, those are really alarming numbers when you think about it. And when you think about the fact that so much of our chronic modern disease that's not infectious is connected back to our metabolic health, you want to have healthy metabolic function in the body, and our metabolism really encompasses all processes that happen in the body, and you can do that by really having optimal health through having really healthy blood that is low in blood sugar, stable. It also contributes to stable moods, and I just absolutely love being fat fueled, being in ketogenesis. If you haven't noticed, being the ketogenic girl, I just love it, and I love sharing about it. It may not be for everyone, but it is a great, thing to be able to access your innate metabolic flexibility. And there's so many benefits just to having ketones being expressed through ketogenesis, and that's something I'm going to get into on the next episode, is some of the benefits just having ketones being expressed in the body from being in a state of ketogenesis or being fat fueled. There's all these amazing benefits. We're learning about ketones themselves and this positive feedback loop that they can have in the body.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being here today and tuning in. I would like to invite you to check out the 20-day Ketogenic Girl Challenge. A lot of the things that we talked about on today's episode, I find are really solved by doing a ketogenic meal plan like the one that I designed, the 20-day Ketogenic Girl Challenge. And a lot of that comes down to having someone already calculate everything for you, having the macros all dialed in for you, having this meal plan with all the portions already outlined for you. It really helps address a lot of the portion control issues, and having everything calculated already really helps with preparation and doing batch prep. A lot of people on the challenge will pick out a day, say on Saturday or Sunday, and they'll meal prep ahead for the week, and they'll pick 2 or 3 days from the plan that they love, and they'll repeat it, such as day 5, which has the burger with my special keto burger sauce, and repeat that. And you can do that as many times as you like, and it really makes preparation and following keto and the meal plans a lot easier, and doing that batch prepping and meal prep on the weekend. And the meal plans also come with a shopping list. They come with a full guide to testing yourself for ketosis, and the best part is they include my support and coaching in our members Facebook group, which is an awesome community. I love being in there, and it really helps so much having other people doing this program with you and alongside, and people who've done it already and successfully reached their goals there to inspire you and to support you. And having that community built in is so important. Our success rates go way, way up when we're doing any kind of diet or lifestyle change when we have a buddy. And I'm here to be your buddy, to be your guide, and help you with your journey, because you can post any questions that you have about keto, about the meal plans, about low carb, and I am there to answer your questions and to support you as you go. And I just think it makes such a big difference to have a coach and a support group and a supportive community around you. So check out the 20-day Ketogenic Girl Challenge. Just a word of caution, there is another 20-day keto challenge that's being sold. It is not mine. I only sell my program from ketogenicgirl.com. So if you see a link to that, it's a copycat version that has kind of popped up in the last year. It also has a similar name, 20-Day Ketogenic Challenge. But if you are looking for my program, which comes with my support and coaching, you can only get it from ketogenicgirl.com, and make sure that you are purchasing the one from me, because I have some people who have purchased this other program thinking that it's my program, and the coaching and support is not included because it's not the program that I formulated and that has had so much success. If you want to read and check out some of the success stories, you can go to ketogenicgirl.com and click on testimonials and reviews or success stories, and you can read some of the dozens and dozens of success stories of people who have done the challenge. And if you join the program, you'll get to interact with so many of those people in the group who've had real success and are there to share tips and tricks for making all of this so much easier and so much fun. So check out the 20-Day Ketogenic Girl Challenge at ketogenicgirl.com. And until the next episode, I hope you have a fat-fueled rest of your day.
A few disclaimers. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice, as I am not a qualified healthcare provider. The information presented on this podcast is for educational purposes only. Ketogenic Girl is not qualified to provide medical advice. Consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to this podcast. Prior to beginning a ketogenic diet, you should undergo a full health screening with your physician to confirm that a keto diet is suitable for you and to rule out any conditions or contraindications that may pose risk or that are incompatible with a ketogenic diet. A keto diet may or may not be appropriate for you if you have any kind of health condition, whether known to you or unknown, so you must consult your physician to find this out. Anyone under the age of 18 should consult with their physician and their parents or legal guardian. Thank you.